to this week's weekly forecast. My name's Vicki and I'm the travelling tarot teacher. I'm coming to you from Karijini National Park, beautiful part of the country in Western Australia, beautiful gorge, beautiful history. Some of the history is very uncomfortable for us colonialists, but well worth knowing. And we did some lovely walks and swimming here. I highly recommend a visit here. It is very beautiful, is very spiritual, a very deep feelings here, and is a lovely place to just come and relax and get yourself together and get your zen back on. You can have a look on my Instagram anyway for some photos, and have a look at my newsletter and my blogs for my adventures. Anyway, I'm not going to waffle on about that this week. We're here to do the weekly forecast, and as usual, I'm going to be giving you some guidance around the cards that are selected for the week to see what type of week we're expecting and how we can access and use the guidance of the tarot for the week ahead. I had a lovely week after last week. It was really, I thought, very eye-opening, the cards that came forward, and it was really fell into line with my week. I'm going to be taking on some different direction for myself, and also too especially with that Nine of Cups energy about what I think I can and what I think I can't do. My eyes were opened up about that, about myself, and I really love the challenges that part of the reading gives me, and helps me to reflect on what I think I am able to do and what I'm not able to do, and how my mind likes to trick me. Anyway, have a look at my blog. Let's have a look at this week's forecast. As usual, I'm using the Mythic Tarot, and I'm choosing 6 cards. So I did some very challenging things this week, physically, emotionally, and mentally, and I had a win. I think I felt really good about what I did. I'm paying for it this week, but it's been really good. Also, Tarot Practitioner course starts tomorrow, and I'm super excited about that. I'm starting off some new participants in the practitioner field, and if you'd ever like to come and be a tarot practitioner, I will show you the way. I absolutely show you how to and support you through that process and that journey, and you can actually turn this into a profession eventually. But you can, the practitioner course shows you how to start your business and become a tarot practitioner effectively and with confidence. Anyway, let's begin. So the first card that we're having a look at is where we are this week, where we are consciously. So the first card we have is the King of Swords. Well, the King of Swords, apart from being a person in our lives, and let's have a look at it in 2 different aspects. The King of Swords means that there's somebody in your life that's turning up, that's going to motivate you, kickstart you, and get you moving in a particular direction. And it will be definitely about the direction that you've been wanting to head in. You have been thinking about it, you've been creating it in your mind, and now you're ready to launch it into the world. And if the King of Swords turns up as a person, they're going to say, yes, you can go for it. But they're not going to be the support person for the rest of the time. They're just going to help you understand and realize how you can actually launch that into the world and get that moving. They're going to show you where it works and where it doesn't work, and then they're going to be like your cheer squad, but then they're not there for the long haul, but they're just there to kickstart the journey. In the other sense, when the King of Wands turns up on a personal level, if it's not a person that's turning up, it means that you are ready to launch yourself into the wider world and ready to become a motivator in that sense. You're not motivating yourself, you're motivating other people. And you know that you have the power to do this because the King of Wands has turned up in your personal conscious self. And so therefore, the rest of the world is actually going to start recognizing it and seeking you out because of that. So it's a very strong influencing card around how you influence not only your personal circle, but the wider community as well. The next card is how your soul is motivating you, what things are being put in your way, what obstacles are being shown to you, what parts of yourself you're going to use to your advantage. And this is the unconscious. So the Judgment card. Love it. So the Judgment card means that this week we are going to be recognizing those things that we're getting rid of, and we're going to naturally be doing it. Our soul is going to be showing us those things that just don't work. I always call the Judgment card now the Marie Kondo of the tarot. If it doesn't serve you, if you don't love it, it's gone, and you would do it without any attachment to it anymore at all. And so your soul is going to be showing you and releasing those things that no longer serve you and that you're no longer attached to. And that means that you've come to a part, and myself as well, we've come to a part of our soul journey. And this week we have come to that sort of conclusion that we've now decided, oh, I'm going to keep that, oh, I'm going to let that go. And we're more than happy to do that when the detachment has already taken place, and we're just cutting the cords without any thought or think, oh, no wrestling of the thoughts anymore. So it's like, I don't really need that. It's gone, it's gone, it's gone. And so unconsciously, we're going to be doing that. And because it's unconscious, it's such a clear process that we don't have to, there's no struggle. Our soul is just doing that for us, and our guides are helping us move through that. So the next card is, I have to scratch my nose. Oh, my nose is a little bit itchy, sorry about that. Okay, the next card we're looking at is our vulnerabilities, our challenges, what's going to sort of trip us up, and what's going to be right in our face to think, you know what, I don't need you anymore, or I do need you, and I'm going to have to nurture you and look after you. So what is that card? What is our block? Oh, the Magician. So the Magician often represents that time where we are at the threshold and ready to step forward. So I'm looking at the first two cards of the Knight of Wands and the Judgment card, where we're ready to step into the world, and the world recognizes our creativity and our greatness and our influence. The Judgment card means that we're moving forward without any attachments. The word impunity keeps coming in. I don't know why I want to use that word in there. I'm just going to leave it there and leave it with you. But we're moving forward without impunity, which means that we're not going to worry about what the effects of our letting go of things are. We're not going to worry about whether it hurts people or doesn't hurt people, because that's not really our concern anymore. We're moving forward without worrying about without carrying the baggage of everyone else around us. And that's what these two cards mean. It means it's so easy to just move forward. So here is a little bit of hesitation. Is this the right path for me? So the Magician, with that hesitation, stop blaming yourself if you think, oh, shouldn't I? If we're having a bit of that shouldn't I? It just means we're bringing mindfulness in. Really, please, guys, stop blaming yourself if you're hesitating around something. All it means is that you're taking one step and you're having a look and you're making sure that you're okay before you take the next step and the next step. And honestly, that was on my journey the last couple of days. I did some physical stuff that I never thought I would have been able to do. And the only way I could do it was taking one step and deciding whether I want to move forward or not. And I decided whether that was okay for me or not. It wasn't about risk taking. It was risky, but it wasn't about risk taking with foolishness. It was using all of the wisdom I've gathered. Take one step, decide, yes, and then I can take another step. And if I decide not to go, no shame. I either stay where I'm at or I go back the way that I came. But the fact that I got this far was a win. It was such a win. Anyway, the next card. So that's all the factors that are affecting us this week. We're ready to move forward. We recognise our influences, but the rest of the world is recognising how we're actually helping as well, contributing as well. And the only thing that we are doing that's a little bit vulnerable is that we are taking our time and deciding from one step to the next step whether that's for us. So the next card we're having a look at is our response. And our response is that our compassion and generosity. So all of those things are not going to be used to hurt, we're not going to be just cutting everyone off willingly just because, without any sort of compassion or assistance. All of our actions are heading towards and being directed by compassion, by kindness, by willingness to stretch ourselves beyond what we knew, and using our wisdom and our experiences for the greater good, because we know that and that's what the King of Wands is actually, because it's a global thing. We're using our compassion and our wisdom and knowledge for the greater good, and because it's the Six of Pentacles, it's in a very real and very grounded sense. It's not out there, it's not airy fairy, it's very grounded, and we'll see it. It'll be the small things that we do that actually make a difference, and we get to decide what those small things are. Now let's have a look at where we're headed in the future. That means we find our tribe. By acting for our highest good, and by putting that into action for the greater good of all, we're actually going to start collecting and recognizing our tribe, and our tribe's going to start collecting and recognizing us. What a great gift to ourselves by surrounding ourselves with support and with the people that love us and support us. And we can only move forward and overcome these little steps by having our tribe work with us, and with us recognizing our tribe and working with them as well. That's the best gift that we can give to ourselves. That's the best way that we can show compassion to ourselves. By showing compassion to ourselves, we can then share that compassion with the rest of the world. So what's our spiritual journey? What's our soul journey this week? Five of Wands. Well, let me have a look at that, because that's quite a challenging card. Ooh, I love it. Okay, straight away, don't sweat the small stuff. Our soul journey is showing us that the small stuff that we use to put in our road and say, oh, I can't do it because of that, we are going to recognize how that actually doesn't really stop us. We're going to recognize how the small stuff is not only helpful to make us stop and decide the best course of action for ourselves, because the small stuff, it doesn't always have to be a bad thing, right? Those little things that block us, that challenge us, it's only the little stuff that makes us stop and think, oh, if only. It just stops us and thinks, you know what? Do I need this or not? Marie Kondoing, right? Is this bringing joy to my life, or what is this actually slowing me down to show me what direction I'm heading in? So the Five of Wands, whenever we're moving forward and we're seeing all these wonderful things happening, and we have this greater good feel around us that we can actually contribute something to a bigger picture for ourselves, the Five of Wands is going to help us. Instead of trip over, it's going to help us work with the Magician to say, you know what, it's okay. The Five of Wands is going to say, you know what, this little thing is making me stop and think, because the Magician is helping me decide, is this the right direction, or is that the right direction? And so therefore these two are going to be working together. Our soul and our vulnerability is working together to help us recognize how these little things actually contribute to the bigger picture. So it's about the small things that we do that contribute to the bigger picture this week. It's recognizing that those little things, and we don't have to decide. Our soul is working it out for us, but it's the little things that help contribute to the not only to our greater good, but the greater good of all. So I'm interested to see how that works for us this week. It's actually the little things. It's like those little ripples that we make that affect the rest of the world. So how are you going to use your little ripples for your greater good? You do not have to work out how that's going to affect the rest of the world. That's exactly what the King of Wands and what the Judgment card is helping us to do. We don't have to work out how we ripple out to the rest of the world. We just know that we're doing it for our greater good, and because we're doing it for our greater good, it ripples out to the greater good of the universe, good, bad or ugly. It's not our decision. It's their God's decision and their soul's decision how they're going to use it for their greater good. Anyway, be your best selves. I love it. And I'll be doing my next lot of travels and seeing you next week. I'm definitely going to be using the power of these cards in my journey this week. Thank you so much. Love to you all, and see you then. Goodbye.